Hi, I'm Tyson Franklin, and welcome to this week's episode of the Podiatry Legends Podcast. Podcast designed to help you feel, see, and think differently about the podiatry profession. With me today is Michael Stephenson. He's in Glasgow at the moment, and he owns AA Podiatry. He's also the brains behind Tomorrow's Podiatry. He has been on the podcast before. We have talked about Tomorrow's Podiatry before, but now we're going to do a massive update because it's been a few years. So, Michael, how are you doing today?
Well, good evening or good morning, depending where you are. I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
I'm fantastic, and that's probably the best introduction I've done without botching it up somewhere.
I know how tricky it can be. You got to try tripping over yourself, don't you, before you get to the end of it?
Oh, sometimes it just happens. You can't help it. You get all mixed up with your words. When the podcast I do with Big Jim Mack and the Podiatry Marketing Podcast, and the amount of times we'll be talking beforehand, we might even be laughing about something, and then we try to do the intro, and all it takes is one of us to have a silly look in our face, and we lose it. Usually it's me, and we have to just do 3 or 4 takes.
You suddenly realise why live TV is so difficult. It's okay when you've got the time, the pressure's off it, but when you need it, do it sharp and live, or whole different ball game.
Yeah, I used to go to the radio station here locally for about 5 or 6 years. I used to go in every Saturday morning and did this 20-minute segment on podiatry. And I remember the first time I went in there, I was so nervous. And Steve Armett, the announcer, said, "What is it you're nervous about?" And I went, "What if I say the wrong thing? What if I accidentally swear?" And he said, "You won't." I said, "What do you mean I won't?" He said, "You just won't." He said, "You just know you're on the radio." He said, "You're professional enough to just know that you won't." And he was right. I never did. It wasn't that I didn't get tongue-tied sometimes. We lost what we were talking about, or we'd laugh too much.
And it's all about practice, which the more you learn to do it, the more you practice it, the more comfortable you get. Also, the more you learn ways of being able to just buy yourself a little bit of time to think about things when you need to.
And that's why anyone listening to this now, if there's anything that you have thought about doing, but you've been put off because you're a little bit scared, a little bit of fear, you got to remember, perfectly normal, and you only get better by doing. I'll give you a perfect example. This morning, my time, I was on, I think we were on StreamYard. I was on with yourself and Sarah Jane. And you were doing pushing all the buttons behind the scene. And I was watching how you were flashing things up on the video and making it do things that I have absolutely no idea how to do. I was very impressed, and it made me realize I've got a lot to learn.
But the lovely thing about it, and actually it's a nice way of bringing it back to what we're talking about with Tomorrow's Podiatry, is when we've been able to do this with students and with other people, we've been able to watch that skill set develop and actually demystify it and make it easy, and then watch people go off and do their own things and take that skill set and really run with it and do things that you'd never thought of, but do it so much better than you could ever have managed. And it's the beauty of sharing knowledge and skills and confidence, because once you've got that set, you can then find something that really interests you and take it off in weird and wonderful ways, but can be really, really productive.
Yeah, well, this is it. Everything's hard until it's easy. And it's not, I know people have said, "Oh, I'd love to do a podcast." And they'll say, "Oh, what microphone do you need?" Okay, don't worry about the microphone. Even though it is important. Long term, the better microphone you have. But in the short term, there's just a couple of simple things that you need to do. And when you understand that, then you slowly just get better and you improve your equipment and your sound. There's other things you can learn in time. But the main part is you just need to get started with anything you're going to do. The first step's the hardest one.
Absolutely. And also being iterative with things, allowing yourself to try something, see it doesn't work, learn from it and move on. Just before we came on, we were talking about reflection. And when we started off doing the Facebook Lives with Tomorrow's Podiatry over lockdown, we had 6 different students doing different stream each. And we'd start off and say, okay, right, we don't need to practice it. We'll do a bit of public speaking, we'll give you some tips. But actually, it's how do we make that format for you? How do we make you feel comfortable so that you can then sit and go, this is working, I can move on, or actually this isn't. And when we started with the sort of couple of different sessions that we'd start with, quite often that really worked, but couldn't quite make that flow. And it was then going, okay, well, how can we help you develop that so that works better for you? And as we went on and moved on with things, we saw some really nice ideas come through. The best ones stuck. The bits that we tried that didn't work, well, they went to the background, and it was wonderful to watch. And we'll talk about in a minute, but seeing some of those students that we were first bringing on as slightly nervous, not so comfortable in front of camera, now to watch them present is just an absolute pleasure. And they'll blow you and I out the water, I tell you. They are some fantastic talent there.
I take it too, as you were teaching them the process and they were learning it, then sometimes very quickly the teacher becomes a student again, where they start excelling and you're going, how did you do that? And then they start teaching you.
Well, we've got a fantastic young lady called Nancy Kelleher, who's going to be presenting this year's awards.
Yeah.
And I remember when we first had her in, and we were doing one on the future of podiatry, and we were like, okay, let's have a look and see what we can do about it. And I said, look, we'll get Chris Nestor, who was doing some wonderful stuff around bone pinning and looking at movement in joints and some really interesting stuff around there, and also doing some stuff at a research level that was really interesting. We got Nick Knight and Emma White as well. So 3 really big names around the UK podiatry scene, real deep thinkers about it. And I remember said to her, okay, let's look at format, let's put some bits around it and see how it is. And about 2 days later, I got a four-page briefing sheet for what she was going to be doing and sent out to all of them. And she got on screen, and I tell you, she had them in the palm of her hands. It was just amazing to watch. And again, it's, I like to say we gave people the sort of space to be able to try. They didn't need it. They went and ran with it, and it's a pleasure to watch, and it's really lovely to see them coming through now and blossoming as they always were going to, but maybe hopefully just having put a little bit of a fast forward on it.
No, that's fantastic. So what is the latest with tomorrow's podiatry? What's happening?
So we'll take it back. So for those of you that haven't heard about Tomorrow's Podiatry before, Tomorrow's Podiatry really came out of I've always felt that we need to invest in our future, and that we really need to make sure that we're a small world, but we stop eating our young and help them instead. Yeah. Stop with a fishing rod and feed the pond. And so we started off, and what we wanted to do is bring people together, give them a chance to network, and work on some of those soft skills. Because I think sometimes when we're looking at clinically relevant stuff, if you're in first year, your knowledge base is really quite different to a fourth year. So, and absolutely as it should be. In Scotland, we're a 4-year course. I know down in England, you're a 3-year course. I think you're 3 years over in Australia as well.
No, right? 4 years most 4 years. Of the universities, 3 years Newcastle.
So there's a bit of a mix there, but it's the same bit. By the time you're in fourth year, you're looking at podiatry and your clinical skills set in a very different manner. And what I loved about soft skills is quite often, it doesn't matter whether you're first year or fourth year, if you're scared of public speaking, you're scared of public speaking, or if you've not done a lot of teamwork, you've got that. So by creating a common set of learning, it allows you to begin to create those bonds together, and also allows you to integrate together. And I think sometimes we're so used to working in bubbles in podiatry, never mind what school you're in, it's your year, and you don't see what's broader out there. Yeah, and you cannot be what you cannot see. So we really wanted to bring that together. So what we've done over the years is we've done a couple of different things. We've been we did some Facebook Lives over lockdown. We got mixing up, as we were talking about earlier, students from different aspects with different interests and matching them up with experts in the area so that they could help talk about what interested them and bring their perspective to it and use those links so that it was a great chance to build up networking skills. And we also, at that same stage, back in 2019, started a set of awards. And again, that was really just to showcase, just some of the amazing stuff that students are doing. Also to say thank you to those that are helping and enabling students. So the educators and the podiatrists and others outside of that could help. And also as a way of being able to look around and see what do we want out of our students. So we've been running them now. We're in our 7th edition this year and going from strength to strength. We've been really lucky to get support of some of the fabulous companies around the podiatric world. Flexitol, we have to give a shout out to for many years, helping support us. And this year we've got the Foot and Ankle Show and Firefly, who have both been very kind in their support for making it possible.
I just want to go back a step. I love what you're saying, though, about the soft skills, because it wouldn't matter whether you're in first year, fourth year, or you've been, even like myself, I didn't do any public speaking, never got up to speak in front of anybody until I was 32. I was petrified. I would have loved to have learnt that skill when I was at university, but there was never an opportunity to do that. And I always think when you can overcome that fear, the amount of doors that it opens up for you, for your business, for your career, just for your life in general, it is so different.
Well, that's one of the things that I really love doing is over the last 4 years, we've been going over to Galway University and we've been doing a 2-day session with all of the 2nd, 3rd and 4th years over there. I love it because in the first day, we bring the 4th years in and we go over a core workshop, we deliver it with them, and then we give them the tutor notes, and we say to them, look, you're going to be delivering this tomorrow to everybody. So you've had an experience of what the workshop looks like.
Yeah.
Now go out and do it. And we spread that out. And the first year I did it, we lined up everybody with a lecturer or staff member. So they got a bit cold or they got a bit, struggled a bit. They had somebody to step in and help. And then by the end of the first year, we went back and looked at the feedback and said, we didn't need that. The students were fabulous. They picked it up and ran with it and gave it a go. And then we go in and we split up into smaller sections and we do different workshops. There's one on teamwork, there's one on emotional intelligence, there's one on understanding different aspects of project delivery, and there's one on public speaking. And I love the public speaking one because you'd have probably heard of just a minute or something like that. You get somebody to stand up, speak for a minute on a subject without repetition, deviation, forgetting what you're talking about. And you see everybody standing up nervously, on edge and coming through. And then we go through a process of trying to give you a sort of framework to think about things and going, okay, well, actually, you need to think about what you're trying to communicate. Who's your audience? Here's some tricks so that when you get a bit stuck, you've got a bit of time to buy yourself. And then at the end of it, you do another 2 minutes, so double the time. And by the end of it, the room's full of laughter. You've got these magical stories coming out. And the people who, or the students that were really sitting in the back of the corner of the room, shying away from it, by the time you've got to that final bit, they're like, just beginning to get that bit of confidence. And it's absolutely wonderful to see. And it's really stepping outside that room and just having a listen to the chuckles coming out and the confidence building over the course of an hour and a half is absolutely wonderful.
Is that offered to all the students? Are they all participate? Or it's only the people that put the hand up and say, oh, yeah, I want to be involved? Because if somebody is really petrified of public speaking and they know you're going to do public speaking, if I had been at uni, if I wasn't told that I had to do it, I would have found an excuse not to do it because I was terrified of public speaking. So I would have avoided it.
So we've set it up in a really nice way. And as I say, because we've got the 4 years delivering back the way, it creates that positive feedback loop. You're getting everybody, it's a virtuous circle. Also, you're building up that, they know that in 4th year, they're going to have to present a little bit as well. So I think there's that section. We give them a choice of workshops, but essentially we've got 5 or 6 workshops that we do as a sort of optional at the end there. So most of them, we say to them, look, don't do something you did last year, do something new, and then feedback. And you know what? It's really interesting because actually the one that's often we sometimes double up some is the public speaking one. And I think it's because people recognize that's scary. And actually, because they're not in front of, it's their peers, they're in a safer environment, it's creating a safe learning environment for people and allowing them to then mix up. So yeah. Yet to answer your question, sorry, I'm terrible at going off on tangents, but
that's all right. Yeah. I do it all the time. No, that's the story of my life. But I remember seeing a statistic once, and it said that the number 1 fear in Australia was public speaking. The number 2 fear was death by fire. So people would rather die in a fire than have to get up and do public speaking. And in New Zealand, the number 1 fear was snakes, and they don't even have snakes. And then it was public speaking, then death by fire. So people don't want to do it.
No. And we talk about promoting podiatry and we talk about how do we get our voices out there. We've got to build a skill set there. And we've done these sessions and in other forums, I do it with other groups. And it's fabulous. It's great because you start seeing, but these are practitioners who are maybe 10, 15, 20 years into their careers. And it's always great to watch people learning, but you don't just have that same amount of time to then build on that and to go out and be able to make the most of it. And if we can build that skill set early, and it's a combination of building that skill set for public speaking. And then another one I think you'll love, which we're just writing at the moment to come into for next year, is networking. So you've got that dual 2 where you can, first of all, make that network and then be able to promote. It could be podiatry, it could be whatever you love, but it's about getting that space there as well. And I think really key. And that's where the soft skills really matter, because you can be the best podiatrist in the world. We can have the best podiatric group in the world. But if we're not giving new entrants the opportunities to learn, to make mistakes in a safe space, and to then be able to build that confidence, then we're not doing the work that we need to do.
Yeah. In the Podiatry Business Owners Club, the group I have on Facebook, I ask people what's your biggest frustration in podiatry? And a really common one is, I wish the community knew more about podiatry. And I've seen that posted in so many different groups. There's a comment, I wish the association do this or do that. And I think, well, no, why should the association, if you're in where you are in Glasgow, why should the association have to promote podiatry there? The podiatrist there should be promoting podiatry. But this all comes back to the public speaking. A lot of people will say, oh, the community don't know what we do, are also the people that don't go out there and tell people what we do. There's speaking opportunities available, yet they don't do it. So I think if we could really improve those skills from a ground level, as from students, and get everybody out there talking a little bit more, it's got to be a real positive for the profession.
Well, I'm currently working on a project with Dave James, of this parish, and Jill Woods as well. And not for today, but at some point you'll need to get back, because I think you'll enjoy that one. I'll tell you a bit more about it later. And for those listening, keep an ear out, because there's going to be hopefully something exciting coming this year out of that work.
Yeah, well, Dave James is nuts, but in a good way. So Dave, if you're listening
Absolutely.
to this, he's a funny, nutty person. And Jill Woods is cool as well. So the two of them together would definitely be creating something good.
Oh, absolutely. I'm really excited about it. It's a project that we've been talking about for a wee while, but a little bit early to announce where we're going with it. But I think it's something that will really excite in that space. So, but coming back to tomorrow's podiatry and where we've got to. So part of that is working with fantastic schools like Galway to be able to build and develop that. We're also looking then at how we can develop that into a mentorship model, because again, it's creating links that go both horizontally and vertically. And I think that's our next step that we're going to be introducing next year. If there's any lecturers listening and you think, actually, wow, that sounds like a great idea, I'd love to get involved. I'm always happy to have a chat about seeing if we can bring it to other universities as well. It's about really making sure that we want to make sure that everybody has that network and that ability to do so. But the awards, which is what we've got coming up we've currently had the shortlists, so they're out at the moment. Some really amazing nominees, some amazing nominations that didn't even make it on the shortlist. It's fabulous in that manner. And we are announcing the winners. And I believe, Tyson, you're going to be there as well, following your marketing workshop.
I am. I'll be having my marketing workshop on Monday the 2nd during the day, and then zipping across to the hotel where you guys will be, probably have a quick Guinness on the way through, and come along to the awards. And I'm looking forward to it.
No, it'll be fabulous. It says, and as I say, we've always tried to, and again with Tomorrow's Podiatry, we've always tried to work with students and graduates that have been part of it to then build up those opportunities. Nobody needs to see this ugly mug on screen. We want to have people that are much more photogenic, but more importantly, that have really shown and proved their mettle around the spaces. So last year we had a fantastic Sophie Bennett, who had previously won a Student Leadership Award. She was announcing them. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it this year. And this year we've got Nancy Kelleher. But it's one of the pleasures is we're now in our 7th year. And back in 2019, when we first launched the awards, Lauren Connell, who was the winner of the Student of the Year, who was from Galway, it's really nice to be seeing her now progress. She's gone through being nominated for the Student Researcher of the Year and is now in the Inspirational Podiatrist category. So you can really see growth there and that space of career progression.
Can anybody attend?
Absolutely. Anybody who's coming along to Foot and Ankles, looking for something to do on
Monday
evening, if you get there a little bit early, come along. We're going to be doing the awards, and then actually really excitingly afterwards, we've got Sean Savage, Zoe Wilson, Alistair Oxbury, and Trevor Pryor. They're coming along to do another Facebook Live following it on ultrasound, and that's a new sort of space that we're looking at doing some extra stuff around as well. So a 2 for 1.
Yeah.
Get to come and see and celebrate the students, and then participate in what hopefully be a great
show. Do people have to pay to go?
No, all free to come. So thanks to Firefly, they've helped pay for the venue and cover our costs. So we want to make as many people come. We want as many people to come as possible to be able to celebrate.
It's at the Pullman, isn't it?
It's at the Pullman. We'll have people directing people. So as you come in, doors will be open from 7 o'clock, and we'll have access. We'll start the awards live at 7:30.
Yep.
They should take about 20 minutes. We'll have a little bit of a celebration, and then we'll also be doing the panel discussion and show from 8 o'clock in the same location. So a 2 for 1.
That should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be something a little bit different. And it's good too. Your goal is to keep growing this each year. And like you said, it doesn't cost anything to go. So anyone that's listening, this episode will come out about a week before the awards. So anyone that listens to this, usually there's a few hundred people that listen to the episode in that first week. You're all the lucky ones. If you're going to be at the Foot and Ankle Show, then come along. I'd love to meet as many people there as possible who listen to the podcast.
Absolutely. And you know what it's like? You go to a conference, you've arrived slightly early because you don't want the early start. You want to be fresh for the next day. And you get there and you get to your hotel room and you're like,
now what?
what shall I do? Should we go and have a look around? Well, come along, have a chance to network beforehand, before you're a little bit tired, before you've had a long day, chance to catch up with friends and say hello to everybody. And also, and I have to say this, we have some amazing nominees. What was fabulous, and it's always two of the things about the awards that make me smile the most. First of all, quite often when people make a nomination for the awards, if they are willing to share, we send a copy of what they've written about the nomination to the person they've nominated.
Yeah.
So they can see why they've been nominated. We don't say who it is. We anonymize that. But we say, look, this was your nomination. If they don't want to share, that's also fine. So you say that, and then we go, okay, great. And the number of emails we get back from educators going, oh, that's made my day. That little bit of feedback in a genuine manner is a really fabulous part of it. But the second bit is then just reading what amazing stuff some students. So the Student Leadership Award this year, it's so close. It's amazing. I'm just getting the judges coming back with their pals in there. And we've got 3 nominees in there. And two of them from Salford. So we've got Paula Donnellan and Vita Murray. And during their time at Salford, they've gone out and started volunteering in a homeless shelter, a centre, being that realised that there wasn't any foot care there. And then off their own back, gone and set up a foot care service in it, and not just started doing a little bit of foot care on the side. They brought in and raised funds to be able to bring kit in, and then established a service going forwards. And I think that's just fabulous. And we talk about students coming there. And then the other nominees in that category, Heather Madu, who is, I have to say, from Glasgow, so has been doing stuff with us as a branch and has always shone as a student. But she's been leading stuff around the university. But she's found a really interesting research area looking at anorexia and how that affects the foot, and found a really niche area and grown with it. But then also just showing such leadership around caring for others, even through tough times. And she's been leading, and we're talking about giving students opportunities. We've had her giving opportunity, which she's been chairing sessions at the Scottish Conference. She's been taking on online sessions as well. So just fabulous nominations. And we've got the same in the Student of the Year Award, some brilliant nominees in there as well. And even it's just the Student Society of the Year Award is always a lovely one, because you see these little touches of interactions, that mixing between things. It's brilliant to see. And
I'd hate to be a judge. I reckon being a judge would be really hard, especially if, like those people that you were just talking about, the different things that they've done, and they are different, yet they're both done exceptionally well. And I suppose part of it too, it's like, I remember when we were in business awards and we had the podiatry clinic, and yes, we won some, but I always said just being nominated was great. Going through the process of the awards night and just the people that we met on the awards night as well, whether you won or not didn't really matter. You felt like a winner regardless. And that's why I think anyone who's nominated, if you can get your bum to Liverpool and just turn up for the night, it's a fun process to go through.
Absolutely. And also it's something, and again, one of the things we've tried to do with Tomorrow's Podiatry is give something to help people stand out on their CVs. And when you're nominated for a national award, it's something you can't take back. It's there. And whether or not you win or you're shortlisted, it's a fantastic achievement. And also what's been wonderful is it's a way of putting podiatry on a pedestal, because all the universities that have had nominees have put out stuff on their social media, put out press releases that they've had people nominated. So again, it's getting podiatry out there. It's giving people a tool to be able to spread the word about what's been done.
What are the different what are all the award categories, just so everyone's totally unaware?
So we have 3 that are student-led.
Yep.
So 2 that are student-led, so only students can nominate. So that's the Educator of the Year and the Inspirational Podiatrist of the Year. So that really gives a flavour of who students are listening to and what's engaging them. We then have the Society of the Year. That's open to any student society that's to do with podiatry or linked to it in any way. And that's a fabulous opportunity to recognise groups. Then we have the Research Student of the Year. So that's for anybody from masters or above who's got a podiatric degree. So you could be doing a master's in economics, but if you're showing out and you're showing the leadership there. And then we've got the 2 big ones, which is the Student Leadership Award and the Student of the Year Award. And whilst they're similar in sort of size, I think leadership is a really important skill. And you've got to, and they're slightly different, because there can be a student that's really academically gifted, doing lots of different bits, But that leadership bit might not be the academically the most gifted, although often really driven, but can be doing something quite different there as well. And I think rewarding those two as well. So yeah, fabulous. 6 awards: student leadership, student of the year, research student of the year, society of the year, inspirational podiatrist of the year, and educator of the year, encompassing the educational environment that students sit in.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And just to let people know too, if you don't know already, which you probably do, is there is a Tomorrow's Podiatry Facebook group as well.
But absolutely is, yes.
So, and you've got thousands and thousands of people in there. If people haven't joined already, they should come over there and go and check it out. Do you have like some entry questions or anything like that, or
no? We tend to try and just do it. we try and reduce the spam, but it's a great there.
Yeah.
And one thing I would say as well is, if you are looking for talented students coming through, then the awards is the perfect place to look, because you are seeing students that have been recognised by their peers and quite often by their lecturers. What's the lovely thing is, a lot of the nominations come in from lecturing staff who want students to be recognised. So yeah, and again, another reason if you're there in Liverpool and you want to come and see, or to join the Facebook group, or to follow us, is you'll get a good idea of some of the talent out there and where to look.
Okay, so before we wrap up, what's next? Where do you see? Let's move ahead, say 5 years, because going beyond that is really hard. You move ahead 5 years. Where would you like to see Tomorrow's Podiatry? What's the vision that you actually have for
What's
it?
the next step?
Yeah.
Well, we'd like to carry on growing the awards. We've gone from being online now to being in person, which is a lovely step. Last year we did a dry run to see how it would work. This year we're really hoping to get numbers up and really be able to celebrate and see more nominations coming through, which would be fabulous. One of the things I said we're doing with Galway, I'd love to see us doing that at more universities, more opportunities to be able to share that soft skills, give people the confidence as a framework. As we're developing it, we've learned a lot over the last couple of years, so now we're not coming into cold and having to pick that up. And one of the things with that I'd really love to see us developing, that's the next step really, is creating. What's beautiful about what we see in Galway is the feedback always comes back, oh, I never got a chance to meet the 3rd, 4th years as much. And working with them, gave me a chance to get them. And as we come back year in year, they go, oh, it added to this journey. Now, the next step of that is saying, well, oh, great, I met students from another university through it, and we can mix that up a little bit more and creating those. And I say vertically and horizontally, but it's about absolutely creating those linkages. So one of the things we're in the process of developing is essentially a mentorship, but a sort of house system, so that once you've done it, you're going to have a bit of an identity that will match up with all the other schools. So if other people do want to get involved, you can say, well, okay, great. So it gives a common language, or at least that's a touch point to start with. And I just want to see more of what we've been seeing. One of the most brilliant bits was I had a most rewarding moment. We was in Galway early last year, and I was just coming back. I've just finished doing 2 days, and you know what it's like. You're doing workshops all day. Your adrenaline's going. You get that slight come down post-conference, and sat there, had a beautiful view over Galway Bay, had a Guinness in hand, as I'm sure you'd have appreciated. And up on my Facebook feed came that Lauren, I mentioned earlier, Lauren Connell, who was our first winner of Student of the Year, had just defended her thesis that day and become Dr. Connell, which was fabulous. And then got a phone call from one of our presenters saying they just got a new job, and it had been because they talked about some of the stuff they'd done on Tomorrow's Podiatry as part of it. It wasn't the reason they got the job. They got the job because they're fabulous podiatrists. But it was just that part of just seeing that loop of people coming through and being able to develop, and then going back to develop others. And that's the bit that it's getting that engagement early on in people's careers, so that they can begin to build on that and build that skill set early and not have to wait till later to be doing it. And also those that maybe haven't got that passion yet, or haven't quite yet figured out what their niche is or what they want to talk out, but when they have, they've then got the skill set to go, or at least the beginnings of that skill set to then start. Because some of us fall in love with things at different stages. And if you've got that skill set, or you at least know where to start, that's what you need. And that's the real pleasure of it.
It is. It's one of those things, and I've harped on about it a lot. I think we spoke about it this morning when I was talking to you, where I talk about digging the well before you need the water. And this is what networking and getting involved in the profession as a student and going along to these events and going along to the foot and ankle show, even as a student, and connecting with people who are already in the profession. And you mentioned about when first year students meet fourth year students. I remember being a first year meeting the people that are in the final year, and it was so exciting at the time. To them, it meant nothing, but to me, it was like, oh, this is a big deal. But I think getting involved in the profession and networking and meeting people, That is digging the well before you need the water. Don't wait until you're thirsty before you start reaching out to people.
Absolutely. And it's building a culture where digging is what's needed,
Yeah.
but that's the norm rather than it being the exceptional because you've got this group. And that's what we really need. As podiatry, in the UK at least, is we need a culture of sharing and community and support so that as we come up, we're a small pond as it is.
Yeah.
And we want as many fish in there that are comfortable being where they need to be to do that. And a culture where that's really the norm for everybody. And we're not there yet. But you ask in 5 years' time, actually, it's not where tomorrow's podiatry would be. What I'd love to see is students coming out and really espousing those confidence and that strength that we don't need tomorrow's podiatry because they're doing that on their own.
It'll still be here. You need things like tomorrow's podiatry it just gives people ownership of something or a belonging to something. Yeah, outside of their job and outside the profession where they can say, oh, I was in that. I won this award in this year. And they go, oh, I won it 2 years after that. And all of a sudden it's like a common ground. It's no different to, I went to QUT in Brisbane and my niece is starting business law this year. And I said to her, oh, where are you going? She's like, I'm going to QUT. And straight away, that put a smile on my face because I remembered exactly where the university was, the different buildings. And I was talking to her about it. And I think this is where people get a better connection with each other, being part of something like tomorrow's podiatry. And in 10 or 15 years' time, all the alumni that'll be part of it as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And belonging is so vital in so many aspects of things. And it's feeling part of something bigger, which really makes a difference. I was really fortunate when I was student president at GCU that we did a lot of stuff around it, but we did a big piece of research around societies and groups. And one of the big selling points to the university was you create belonging in those groups. Your students stick around. They stay as part of the university because they've got a support network and they've got that sense of community and identity that's linked to the university. And in podiatry, I want to see students, I want to see podiatrists coming out and they want to be of use to something, not used by something. And I think that's what we really want to see.
Yeah, I did a couple of episodes a few years back now called Why I Left Podiatry. It was a 2-part thing.
Yeah, I remember watching, yeah.
Been 2 of the most popular episodes on the podcast. So many downloads, unfortunately. But my biggest takeaway from those particular episodes were podiatrists that leave the profession don't have any podiatry friends. Those that are engulfed in the profession and whether they've banged heads with people or not, or whether they love every day going to work is irrelevant. People that have got friends in podiatry don't tend to leave podiatry. People who are on the outskirts, never really networked, didn't connect with anyone, it's just a job. They're the ones that tend to leave. So I think if you're enjoying the profession, you need to connect with other people.
Absolutely. When you've had a tough day, you don't necessarily want to talk to your boss and say, look, I've had a bit of a day. I think I made a boo-boo.
Yeah.
But you do want to speak to somebody and you want to speak to somebody that understands. And that might be your partner. It might be your friend group if you're really lucky. But sometimes people don't want to talk about feet the next day or they don't want to see about this bit. So having that group that you can turn around to and say, look, I did this. I was an absolute numpty. How do I make this better? How do I get myself out of this? Or when times are tough, how do I get through it? Absolutely. It's that support network. And again, the hardest thing we do in podiatry is we close the door behind us when we go in clinic. And it's so easy for people to set up on their own and you end up in a very lonely place.
Yeah.
And we want to provide and we want to build a culture where even if you're sat on your own and you're doing stuff, you've still got part of friends to come to. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Michael, I want to thank you for coming back on the Podiatry Legends podcast. Give us a bit of an update, a little bit more information. Like I said, we did that last episode a few years back. So there'll be a lot of people that have found the podcast, and most of them, they'll start listening to the most recent ones. They'll go back maybe to 100 and they binge all the way through it. But I think some people missed some of the earlier ones. So I want to thank you again for coming back on here. It's been fantastic.
Tyson, thank you so much. And for those of students that are listening and you're studying at the moment, you're thinking about it, do reach out. We're always looking to help out. And if you've got an idea, we try and facilitate, but also keep an eye out for nominations for next year's awards. It could be you on the shortlist, getting free tickets to the Foot and Ankle show and being able to come and join us at the awards for next year. And if you are coming to the Foot and Ankle, please do come and join us. Pullman Hotel at 7 o'clock for a 7:30 start. Come and meet some of these fantastic students, some of the inspirational podiatrists that have been put up for the awards. We'd love to see you and we can't wait to be able to celebrate so many fabulous students.
That would be fantastic. I look forward to seeing you in Liverpool. And then the week after that, I'm going to be in Glasgow with you. We're doing the 1-day intensive reboot podiatry workshop. So all the
Really.
details, which website do people find out about registering for that?
So for that one, that's with another hat on, as we switch hats there.
Yeah.
That's with the Glasgow branch, so of the Royal College Podiatry. That's up in Glasgow. That's at the Central Hotel on the 7th of March. It's going to be a fabulous day. And then if it's not a fabulous day and you've got a bit of anger to take out, we're also going axoing afterwards. So a great opportunity to do both. But you can find that if you search Royal College Podiatry Glasgow branch, either on Facebook or online, you'll find details of how to sign up for that as well. And you linked, Titan, I don't know if you want to put them into the...
I will have them in the show notes. I'll put them all over the place. I've been posting a few things on Facebook. We want bums on seats. The more the merrier. It makes it fun.
Absolutely. And again, it's building that community.
It is. Okay, Michael, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Michael today from Tomorrow's Podiatry. And if you took one thing away from this conversation, I hope it's this. The future of podiatry isn't just about clinical skills. It's about confidence, connection, and also community. We talk all the time about wanting the public to understand what podiatrists do. We sometimes complain that our association should be promoting us more, that patients don't get, they don't understand what podiatrists do. But the reality is this, if we want the profession to grow, we need podiatrists who are confident enough to speak, get out there and network, lead, and show up when the opportunities arise. And that doesn't happen by accident. It happens when students are encouraged early. It happens when there's a belonging, when we feel like we're part of a group, and it happens when someone creates a safe space to build the soft skills that Michael was talking about before the pressure really hits us all. And that's why I love what Tomorrow's Podiatry is actually doing, because confidence compounds. Networking compounds. The more you do it, the better you get. Leadership compounds. The more you take leadership, the more it compounds on these other skills. And the podiatrists who build those skills early don't just survive in the profession, they actually shape it. They're the ones that are thriving, will thrive, and will shape our profession in the future. Now, if you're listening to this and thinking, wow, I wish I'd heard, I wish I'd learnt these skills earlier, I wish I'd felt more confident promoting myself and my business. I wish I had more clarity around where my business is actually going. Then maybe it's time you and I had a conversation. I work exclusively with podiatrists because I want our profession to be stronger. This is why I don't do coaching in allied health. I don't coach dentists. I don't coach physiotherapists, chiropractors. I don't coach anyone other than podiatrists, because that's the profession I'm involved with. That's a profession I want to build. If you want help building clarity of systems, leadership, and maybe just a little bit more confidence in your clinic, please reach out. Just go to my website, tysonfranklin.com. Just have a look through there and you will find all the information you're looking for. And by doing that, maybe you can build the business you actually want, not the one that you maybe have just drifted into. So anyway, that's it for me this week. I want you to look after yourself, look after your family, and I will talk to you next week. Bye for now. Well, if you're still here, it means you were ready for this week's Easter egg, the secret message that I sometimes put on the occasional podcast, not on every episode. And what I want to read to you is a quote, well, something that somebody said on a podcast during the week, and they were talking about finances. And it said, saving on Starbucks won't make you rich, and it also will not send you broke. Now, what they meant by it is it doesn't matter whether you go to Starbucks every day or whether you don't. If you're saving a couple of dollars every day by not going to Starbucks, that money that you save is never going to make you filthy rich. And also, if you do spend a couple of dollars every day on Starbucks, it's probably never going to send you broke. Because in the big scheme of things, that couple of dollars that you spend or save isn't going to have a major impact. There's a lot of other things, a lot of other major decisions that you will make in life that will have a lot more impact on your financial future. Now, how does this relate to podiatry? If you're trying to save a few dollars here and there by selecting a particular type of material over another one, that couple of dollars you save is not going to really make too much difference in the big scheme of things. Cutting somebody's hours back, 1 or 2 hours here and there, just to save a few dollars in the big scheme of things is not going to have major impact on the success of your podiatry business. What will have a major impact, though, is when you're deciding to hire somebody. Who you hire and who you don't hire can have a major impact on your business. If you're deciding to go to a particular conference, spend the money, take the time away from your business to go to a particular conference, that is a major decision. If you're thinking about, should I take some time out and actually be working on my business instead of just being in the business with patients day in, day out, that is a major decision. If you're considering having a business coach or not having a business coach, that is a major decision. So as you can see, those big decisions are the ones that will really have an impact on your podiatry business and the success of your podiatry business in the future. Not saving a few dollars on buying a particular type of material or cutting somebody's hours back a little bit. That's just small thinking. You've got to think a lot bigger. So to just repeat that quote one more time, saving on Starbucks won't make you rich, but also it will not send you broke. Just remember, it's the big decisions that count, not the little penny pinching decisions that we sometimes do day to day. Hope you got something from that, and I will talk to you again next week. Bye.